Hi everyone, Laurel Mintz here, CEO and founder of Elevate My Brand, and this is EMBiz. We have had many conversations about influencer marketing, and really what I want to talk about today is what your influencer marketing campaigns are missing. There are a lot of agencies out there, especially in Los Angeles, that claim to be influencer marketing agencies, focused only on that one thing. And our perspective has always been that you need to be going wide across multiple channels, not just deep in one channel. And so influencer marketing strategies and working with influencers in general can help you feed the marketing beast. You've often heard us say that the conversation that a lot of founders kind of forget is that there are so many channels and you have to create a vast volume of content to make sure that you can service those channels over time. That's why we do things like batched content. Influencer marketing can help with that. A lot of AI tools are supporting that right now as well. But specifically today, I want to make sure that when you're working with influencers, that you're doing it in the right way, especially as we are in this new AI era. First and foremost, I want to make sure that you are still working with influencers. This is their livelihood. It's really important to make sure that we are supporting creatives in all fields. Marketing is forever changed by AI. We all know this. So please make sure that you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think that applies here. But specifically, as it relates to the campaigns, what are your campaigns missing? That's what we want to call out today. One, usually there are a lack of specific calls to action. What is the step that you want someone watching that piece of content to take? Or what are the main points that you want that influencer to call out in their campaign? This could be focused on their creative brief, but most of the time what's missing is, what is that step? If you're the consumer and you're watching this piece of content, what is that next step that you're supposed to take? The next piece that a lot of campaigns are missing are multiple touch points. So again, as I said earlier, we want to go wide, not so deep. So making sure that someone just doesn't see a piece of content one time, because if you're if you're looking at statistics, only 1% to 2% of your content will ever be seen on any particular channel. So when you think about that, again, from a volume perspective, making sure that you are creating a bunch of different content, editing it into smaller clips for multiple channels gives you a much higher likelihood that your end consumer or customer is actually going to see that content. Number 3, you're missing brand fit. I think people get excited about the numbers that influencers have. First of all, not all of those are good conversion metrics, right? If we look at some of the platforms that help us to aggregate these influencers, we know that conversion on the big macro influencers, for example, is very low. It's just that they have so many followers. But more important is for you to find influencers that have brand fit. So if you are trying to sell a product in the consumer space in beverage, someone who is like a car person might not be the right fit for that brand. It seems like it should be very intuitive, but I cannot tell you how many times I've seen content, I've known the influencer, and I've said, that feels super misaligned. The next piece is UTM tracking. So this is more of a technical component that if you're not a marketer and you don't do this on a daily basis, you wouldn't really understand. But UTM tracking is really code that you put on a piece of content on a website, etc., to track through from traffic from a piece of content to a call to action or a conversion metric. It's really, really important, especially when you're working with influencers, because we no longer exist in the wild, wild west of influencers, and you need to be tracking friggin' everything. And then, of course, much like the multiple touch points, making sure that you are always repurposing your content, whether that's doing it on a different platform at a different time or re-editing it, doing long form versus short form. There's no reason that one piece of content only exists one time. And in fact, again, with all of the great AI tools for editing, we can use a piece of content in so many different ways now. So those are the 5 things: specific calls to action, multiple touch points, or even multiple influencers, I would say. That's a really important one as well. Brand fit, UTM tracking to make sure that what you hope is happening is actually happening from a metrics perspective, and then of course, repurposing content. And that is how you can make sure that your influencer marketing campaigns are actually landing.